How many people in the audience are writers? So either professional, people who write a blog, keep your hands up, people who write a blog, people who can write their own name, people who can put a paw print into an ink pad. Okay, great. So everybody here is a writer. Fantastic. So one of the big questions about writing is, why do we write? And obviously the answer is we write to be read. So unfortunately Christos can't be here tonight, and we had to come up with something to fill that space. So I said to Jake, what if we did a talk about crowdfunding, and we can talk about the 5 out of 10 Patreon and the VideoBrains Patreon, and I nearly fell asleep brushing my teeth thinking about giving a talk. So we're not going to do that. So instead I thought, what if we just read some people's writing? So the first contributor is not actually me, and they felt a bit shy and didn't want to read this piece. So this essay by Jake Tucker was published in the North issue of ME&R, which is a sort of alt games zine. And I think it's very good, and yeah, I wanted to read it if Jake wasn't going to, so here we go. And the piece is about his adventures in DayZ. Okay. Just before I started my final year of university, I spent a month living in a deep forest to the north of Chernaris amongst the trees. I wasn't the only one. 20 of us called the tiny patch of forest home, scavenging a living off the land. We have a driver to drop us off, a little over a click from the NW airfield. Then she'll hide the truck in the woods and wait for us to call. If we get jumped or there's any drama, she'll bug out and we'll walk the 10k back to our base alone. We hear them before we see them, driving straight up onto the airfield. They're idiots, probably their first time behind the wheel in DayZ. We're carrying a few magazines of ammo each. As soon as we hear the noise, we abandon the hunt and take up firing positions hidden away from view. The first jeep doesn't stand a chance, shredded under our crossfire. The second jeep full of guys does a bit better, but they're fully surrounded and they fall to pieces on a coordinated attack. It's the most action we've seen all week, and with the noise of the small arms fire booming out across the plains, it's time to head back. The second jeep's usable. We load it up with a couple of rifles from the corpses. We tell our driver we'll be making our own way back. That's when the firing starts. Fuck it, I'm dead, Raka says. German accent, flecked with annoyance. I probably should have read that first and I could have done the accent, sorry. I'm not going to attempt one, that'll just be racist. Probably from down by the control tower. It's a bloody affair. These scavengers are smarter. Bullets crack and whine at close range. Panic sets in and tempers are fraying. When I literally scream for Bodge to take the van and get going, he sprints out to the jeep as I tear into the remainder of the ammo to buy him time to get out. He's carrying the valuables. We're just bait. The return fire from the village mobs dwindled. There's 2 of them left, standing between me and melting into the trees. Phalanx can't see them, vision obscured behind the smoking wreck of the first jeep we lit up. We come to an agreement, eventually parting as friends. They continue to loot the airfield while me and Phalanx vanish into the woods. Raka respawns in the southeast coast. Me and Phalanx agree to go and get him. This has always been a game about the journey rather than the destination. Lovely day for a stroll anyway. Raka logs out for a while. We walk for a couple of hours in near silence. We hadn't really planned for this, and as you get towards the denser populated coast, it's less of a fun survival sim and more of a post-apocalyptic nightmare. The zombies that serve as the game's secondary antagonists are more prevalent nearer the towns, and the crack of gunfire in the distance becomes almost regular. Once or twice, we hide in the undergrowth as other travellers pass by. Water is the first problem. 2 hours stalking through the woods has drained our canteen. Originally, we'd hoped to swing around the map and come out behind, that looks like Electrogorsk. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. But with the lack of decent water stops in the way, we were going to have to work our way along the coast and through Chernogorsk. We're knee-deep off the coast, near the name of one of our many villages I can never remember the name of without looking at the sign. It's silent. We take stock of the situation. We're several kilometres from home, out of food, and have a handful of bullets between us. We're about to go through the 2 biggest towns, full of scavengers. We hug the train tracks as we move towards the town. For perhaps the first time I'd ever approached Cherno since I was thrust into the apocalypse, there was no gunfire. We talked about our plan of attack as we came closer. There are 2 apartment buildings and a hospital to the north of the city we can search without exposing ourselves too much. I've got a magazine of M4 ammo. Phalanx's M14 is empty, and I only have a sidearm, so I give him the M4. I take the empty rifle and the stairs to the roof of the scaffolding opposite. From up there, I can keep an eye on things with my trusty Makarov and search the rooms. He's searching the first apartment block when we see him. The guy approaching fast through the undergrowth doesn't see me as he heads into the building. There's a shotgun in his hand. No good at range, but enough to mess us up here. Watch yourself, Val, I say, as the lone forager works his way through the first apartment. There's roof access, and if he steps out onto it, I'll have a clear shot with a pistol. Phalanx is opposite the ground floor watching the entrance. He appears at the window on the top floor, looking clean at me. I'm not proud of the panic, but I fire instinctively, 2 rounds to the chest. He falls out of view to the floor, writhing around. He's probably not dead, but I can't finish him off from here. Phalanx goes in, immediately heading to the top floor as I start climbing down the ladder. He's not here, dude. Nowhere on the top floor. Phalanx's words spook me. A couple of days from now, posts go out across the internet that you can log out of a server and log on to another to get the drop on people. It's not public knowledge now, so the disappearance throws us both off. Phalanx searched the entire apartment building while I nervously chattered. Somewhere, in a parallel Cherno, that scavenger is patching himself up and moving into an ambush position. In parallel Cherno, he's sneaking past our positions and reloading. Then he logs out of parallel Cherno. The first shot wings me badly. I'm bleeding. Most of the damage is petered out over range. I let out a panicked yelp to Phalanx, but he's already aware. Sound brought most enemies running. I'll bleed out in 2 minutes. I limp away from the gunshot as another goes off, shattering a window behind me. The would-be killer isn't patient enough to wait for a clean shot. I stagger around the corner and drop to the ground, hands slippery with sweat. I hear the lethal cacophony as Phalanx emerges, rounds whistling through the air. He's vanished. I'm still bleeding, but it's not safe to bandage yet. I get up, 90 seconds till bleed out. Stagger around to the front of the building. Phalanx is talking. I'm panicking. He can't see the guy. 60 seconds. I weave into the entrance of the apartment block. We're face to face. He fires a burst. A double tap to the chest. He falls over. I start to bandage quickly. The visual effects fade and I realize what I've done. Phalanx is on his back, dying. I bandage him too. He's in a bad way. We can't search for this guy anymore and we don't have time to wait around. So we run off into the industrial maze. We don't discuss the part where I shot him twice in the chest. While bandaging, we run across the corpse of the scavenger before us. He probably used up all of his medical supplies and succumbed to his wounds. There was nothing we could use on him. The skirmish had been ultimately pointless. As we left the town and link up with Raqqa, we heard gunfire starting up again. Cherno was the city of the dead.